everyone, I'm Melinda Gallant, and I am on an exciting adventure in Falmouth, Massachusetts. I am in this beautiful, beautiful spot with beautiful water behind me, and out there in the water are oysters growing, ready to come to your table in about a year and a half or 2 years. So anyway, come along, let's have a Cape conversation. I am so excited to be sitting here with a very dear friend and a very nice person, despite what other people say. No, just kidding. I am sitting here with Jill Talladay, and she is the Executive Director of Care for the Cape and Islands. I almost did it again. I don't know why I do that. Care for the Cape and Islands. Jill Talladay, Executive Director, and hot ticket. Hey, Jill.
How you doing, Melinda? It's great to be here.
Yeah, and look at us sitting in this lovely spot.
I know.
I mean, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. I'll stay here all day.
There you go. and we have this lovely person who allowed us to use her home and her dock.
She'd mind if we stayed here all day?
Well, she might think it a little odd, but she might want her chairs back.
Right.
And I feel like a little bit like
Edith Ann.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Edith Ann.
Yep.
And that's the truth. Okay, so tell us all about what you're doing. Now, Jill, you were in a little bit of your background, you were in the hospitality industry.
I was.
And what did you do in the hospitality industry?
I started out in the hotel industry. Operations and mostly sales.
Yeah.
And I worked for large companies and small. I got some great training through Marriott Corporation and even did an internship in college with Walt Disney World.
Wow.
So I had great training, learned a lot. But mostly was working for smaller properties, and then the majority of my career was with an organization called Group Tour Magazines. And I was the Eastern, New England and Eastern Canadian representative for the publication. And we talked a lot about, well, what group tours can do when they're in the area.
Sure, economically, how they provide economic boost, right?
Right.
To various, visitor tourism areas, right?
And then I got really interested in kind of the nonprofit world and also looking around at the environment of Cape Cod and concerned about that it be preserved for the future and what the impact is of all the people that we're inviting to come and be here. So that's...
Besides the traffic.
Besides the traffic, yeah. Besides the traffic. But yeah, how does it impact the water, our air, the beaches, all our sea life, all that kind of thing.
And so that was your impetus to start the...
Yeah, I mean, actually what I ended up doing is I started attending a lot of workshops on sustainable tourism. So I learned a lot about sustainability and sustainable tourism. And it prompted me to go back and get my graduate degree in sustainable destination management from George Washington University.
Did you live in Washington, or did you do telecommuting?
No, I did it through what we call distance learning.
Oh, yeah?
But I felt very much connected. We did a lot of projects so that we were working in teams and talked on the phone, Skyped, whatever. So I felt very connected with the other classmates, like I really was in a class.
Sure.
And what was interesting also was that I reconnected with some people that were clients from Atlantic, Canada.
No way.
Yeah, Nova Scotia
neat.
and Prince Edward Island. Some of my former clients were in the program as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. So do you feel like, I mean, here you are, you're a single woman, and you're reinventing yourself a little bit, doing something new. Is it scary? And the reason why I bring that up is because I think there are a lot of women, single or married, whatever. Your family is raised, the people are gone, you're moving on in your life, you want to do something different, and you did it. I mean, that's exciting.
Maybe it was the life coaching or whatever, my leadership program.
So you did that too.
I did an 8-month leadership program that took me out to California 4 times for different retreats. Jumped out of redwood trees and harnessed, of course. But one of the things that it encouraged you to do is to live outside of your comfort zone and take risks. And yeah, I mean, so I was inspired to.
So are you a life coach?
No.
You're not a life
No,
coach.
a lot of the people in the leadership program were life
I see.
coaches, but
Right.
I actually went to a life coach when I was looking at career changing, to help also encourage me to do that. And she helped me to get the gumption to leave my job of 15 years.
Wow.
And without another job, without another income.
Right.
So I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges about what I'm doing now is, I don't have a regular permanent, salary that I have to find my own income.
Right. Right.
So that's probably one of the biggest risks to take, but I feel like it's worth it.
Well, it's worth it because your heart's in this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all these years that you've worked, I mean, I know you've worked with a couple of visitor organizations. I know you've worked with the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, and you've worked with the various local chambers of commerce. And
I'm actually working part-time at the Visitor Center on Route 6 that's
you
run
are?
by the Yarmouth Chamber.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So in doing that, you see what visitors are asking for, and are you seeing that they care about the Cape?
They do. The time at the Visitor Center has actually been a great, kind of like a laboratory, so that I've had an opportunity to speak with them and find out, why do they keep coming here and what's important to them. And when I was putting CARE together, I kicked around some ideas with them to find out what their response would be and what their interest level was. So, yeah, so that's been really great. And I mean, they come here because of the environment. I mean, that's why they're here. So.
And where do you see people coming from? I mean, are they coming from western part of the state, or
all
is it
over
all
the world?
Really?
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Europeans, but we've had people from Israel and China.
Wow.
And then a lot of people from California.
Really?
Yeah. So
for a first time, they go from one coast to the other, right?
Yeah,
left to right.
That's what I'm all into, the bi-coastal lifestyle.
There you go. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So so I know you started this, and I know, you've got a board of advisors and all of that, but what have you done so far? I mean, I know you're associated with another organization, I think.
When I was in graduate school, I did an internship with the Center for Responsible Travel, which is based in Washington. And what they do is research and education, and it's all about travelers' philanthropy. So people giving of what they call time, talent, and treasure. And I went to their third International Travelers Philanthropy Workshop, which was in Costa Rica a couple years ago.
Wow.
Saw what they were doing, and it's a very similar program to CARE. So that's how I kind of got the idea of, I thought, why not do something similar here? And now I've just totally forgotten what that original question was.
Well, what other organization is
right?
Yes. Now, is that CREST?
CREST. Yeah.
That's the whatever they call that.
Yes, Center for Responsible Travel, or known as CREST.
CREST.
Yes. So they've been supporting me, guiding me, giving me help. We put on a educational workshop, actually two, one in Brewster and one here in Falmouth.
Wow.
In June, because we felt that we needed to let the industry know more about what we were doing. And a representative from CREST came and talked about the history and and really what it's all about.
And what has been the response from the industry? I mean, obviously you have to get the industry involved first because they're the ones who are going to get the people involved who are visiting here.
Right. Because I'm really working through the tourism industry to connect with the visitors. I think they're all very supportive. There's some that are kind of still having a hard time wrapping their arms around it or trying to figure out how to participate. Our biggest challenge, I think, has been with the lodging properties that we're primarily working through, feeling comfortable asking for their guests to make financial donations.
Right.
So we've been trying to find the comfort zone in that respect. But they all think it's a great idea to help preserve the Cape and to get the visitors involved.
So, okay, I'm going to make this all up, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I have
You're
a property.
Good at storytelling.
I am, aren't I, though? I have a property here on the Cape, and it sits on the water, and it's beautiful. It's pristine. It's fabulous. And I charge a lot of money to come to this property. So my guests are all pretty well heeled because they can afford to come there, and they bring their nannies and all that. So do I ask them? Do I ask them if they want to donate $1 towards keeping up the beaches and helping with this and going? And these funds are going to go. Where do the funds go into?
They go. We select at the beginning of each year. We select specific projects.
Okay, so
yeah.
So that will help preserve the Cape,
right.
I presume. Okay.
Right.
All right. So is that the problem? They don't want to ask them for the extra buck?
Yeah, and actually I found out one of our key properties, who is just as you suggest, felt uncomfortable asking for $1 because they thought it was kind of like, I don't want to name a business, but
No.
that it was below their quality of.
So they could ask for 10.
Well, exactly. So we, these are things that we found out after we did our initial program, and so, and another thing that they've actually put together is the opportunity for people to actually make the donation decision as they're making their reservation.
Okay.
So that it's done before they come here.
Right.
They can see what CARE is all about.
Excellent.
Yeah, and also the property is contributing because they're giving the guests an opportunity to decide if they want to save. Will they reduce their usage of lighting and heating and so on, and from what the hotel saves, then the hotel will actually make a donation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're telling me that some properties are so, I'm going to say, you use the word exclusive, that they felt maybe $1 wasn't enough, and so they chose to offer their clients before they arrive, their visitors before they arrive, the opportunity to give back.
Right. Right. And they offered several different levels.
I see.
Yeah. So there's there's somebody that decides that no, they don't want to participate at all.
So they can opt out.
They can opt out. Then there's this maybe $2 a day, and then there's those that are that much more committed, and they gave them carte blanche to donate the number of their choice.
Wow. And that's pretty terrific.
It's great. It's great.
Now, what is the response from businesses across the Cape? I mean, obviously the hoteliers, that's who you're trying to get. What about other businesses? What if I'm a restaurant? What if I'm, I try to conserve water. I only do laundry once a week. I don't know. It's whatever, the conserving water and all that stuff. So what is the response from them?
Yeah, I mean, there's been all different kinds of things. We also offer a membership so that someone can, if they don't feel like they're exactly the right type of business, they can show their support by being a member. We have a supportive sticker that they can put into their store window.
Right.
There's another business that a big part of what they do is they sell books.
Right.
And we have a bookmark that describes the specific projects that we're funding.
Oh, neat.
So they have a little donation box on their counter, and when anyone buys a book, they get the sticker.
Oh, nice.
Another business that we're working with is Cape Air. And they have a
That's
book.
a big business.
That's a big business, and they were kind enough to put an article in their most recent publication of The View, which is all summer long. It's been on all of their airlines, and they also do a book giveaway. So when in their book giveaway, they've given away the bookmark that talks about CARE.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. So, and speaking of, I mean, Cape Air used to be run by Dan Wolf. I think he's now kind of a silent off to the side.
Well, he's still very much involved.
Yeah.
But his brother, Jim, is
running it, right?
He's their sustainability person.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, they have a CEO, a fabulous woman who's running the company on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
But Jim is very involved, and so is Dan.
So I guess my question is, I go to Dan Wolf. He's a state senator. What is the support from the, have you had any support from the government at all?
Yeah, well, actually, I met with Dan not too long ago. He was very enthusiastic about it. He loved what we're doing. He's offered to come and speak at, future events that we put on.
That's great.
And gave me some suggestions of other people that I should speak with.
Oh, that's great.
I've been in touch, or actually won some money through the Cape Cod Commission.
Oh.
They did a.
Oh yeah, that survey thing, right?
Yeah, it was to help educate the community about their wastewater issues. And so they had a game, Community Planet. And I was one of the selected nonprofits.
Wow.
And so people could play the game and donate the winning points. And as it turned out, I was one of the second top recipient of points, and I personally was the highest point earner.
Yay!
So yay! I know I'm very competitive, as it turns out.
Really? Gee, I didn't know that about you, Jill.
So it was a lot of fun, and I lost out to a I don't know, he was an 8-year-old boy from Falmouth who had this drone. He created this drone that would go over, an algae drone, and go over the ponds and could determine where there were problems, based on the amount of algae.
Wow.
That there was. So.
That was a pretty big thing to lose to, though.
It was, but it was okay. I felt better losing to a boy.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, but as a result, I earned $1,000 for.
Oh, that's great.
And that we donated to Capabilities Farm, which was one of our projects.
Okay. So now tell me, you select projects, and what projects have you selected in the past?
The first year we worked with the Cape Cod National Seashore. It's an organization, or the National Seashore is one of our primary attractions.
Right.
And so we...
Thank you, President Kennedy.
Yes.
First act he did in going into office was to sign that. Otherwise, it would look like Myrtle Beach. Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with Myrtle Beach. There'd be high rises all up and down.
Right.
It's a wonderful place. Wonderful place.
So what we ended up funding was a wayfinding sign that's out at their new Herring Cove bathhouse in Provincetown, and it talks about the different types of whales, about their feeding ground in Stellwagen Bank. So we did that. Capabilities, we helped to fund a farm tour and Capabilities that provides jobs for people with disabilities, and so this will help people to learn more about how they grow the hydroponic tomatoes and that kind of thing. And then one of the other projects, why we're here, is this year we're helping to fund the Falmouth Water Quality, which is using oysters as a natural means to clean the water. And not only is it helping to purify the water, but it'll be providing jobs, because fishermen have to take care of the aquaculture.
Right.
They're eventually going to be selling the oysters, and so the oysters will generate money.
So behind us is the oyster grant.
Right.
Is that correct? And obviously the people around here think it's a great thing, because
right
the woman who was sitting and said she loves sitting here watching, them come out and take care of the oysters, which is, I grew up in the Midwest, as you know, but I grew up in the Midwest, and farming was a lot different than it is here. Farming here is an oyster grant.
Right.
I mean, how wonderful is that? I mean, it's just truly amazing to me.
One of the other things that we chose this particular project is because they want to involve people. They need volunteers. And so as a local resident or as a visitor, you have the opportunity to come and actually get involved hands-on and work side by side with the
So wait a minute. You're telling me that I could call Falmouth? Is that who I would call?
Right.
I'd call their division of...
I guess Ryan can tell us.
Yeah, more about that. Yeah. Right, the gentleman who's doing it. Right.
But
I would call them and say, gee, can I come out today, and when are you going out on the oyster grant? I'd love to see what you do. Can I give you a hand?
Right.
Wow, that is cool.
There are different things, throughout the year.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, one of the things they're going to have to do is move the smaller oysters into a place where they can grow bigger.
Right. And will that be here or somewhere else?
I'm not sure where they're going, but they're going to be taken from here, and I'm not sure whether, again, that's Ryan can tell us specifically, but I know he said that was something that was going to be coming up soon, and they're going to be like millions of oysters that need to be hand moved.
Transplanted, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk to him in just a few minutes. What's kind of amazing to me is, though, you got this germ of an idea, and you went ahead and did it. I mean, I just think that is about the coolest thing ever. Because you know how we all sit around and go, you know what we really need to do, or we really should, or we really could, and you actually did it.
Well,
you knew something you loved, and you
right.
did it.
I mean, it's really something I've been thinking about for a long time because we, as you know, there's that love-hate thing we have as residents for our visitors.
Really? You mean last weekend in the traffic?
And we kind of forget the fact that many of us were visitors before we came
why
and
we're
moved
here. Right.
And so I thought if we can connect the visitors and the residents,
right,
so that the visitors can have a better respect for what we're doing in our environment, and then our residents can see that there's a way that our visitors can help other than just, you know, buying things. You know, that hopefully this would help all the way around, and we have a better understanding for each other.
Oh, that's
our
great.
Visitors would have better respect for, you know, our beautiful place.
Right. Well, thank you, Miss Jill.
Thanks for having me,
Fabulous, 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 fabulous. Care for the Cape and Islands. Listen, look for those bookmarks. Go online. What's your website?
careforthecapeandislands.org.
Yay! Very good. Simple. Easy to look up. We're going to go talk to Ryan now. All right. Great. Thanks. Well, I am here now with Ryan Rezendes, right?
Rezendes, yep.
Rezendes, that's right. And, of course, Jill is here. And you are the man, you the man who takes care of all these baby oysters.
Yep, about 2 million of them.
2 million baby oysters.
2 million,
wow,
yeah.
You must be a proud papa.
Yeah, I'm the oyster babysitter around here.
Now, how did you get involved with this craziness?
So I just graduated from Roger Williams this May, and I've been doing this for restoration, research, and commercial oyster farming for about 3 or 4 years now.
Wait a minute, you're not that old that you could be doing it for 3 or 4 years.
Well, throughout college. College, yep. So that was pretty much my focus in college at Roger Williams.
Yeah.
And my professor at Roger Williams, who lives in Falmouth, he told me about this opportunity, and I applied for it, and I ended up getting it. So.
Oh, that's great. So
cool.
now, who do you work for?
I work for the town of Falmouth, the Marine and Environmental Services Department.
Wow.
And I'm the Little Pond shellfish manager / biologist.
Oh, really?
So,
wow, great
cool.
job.
Yeah, can't complain.
So tell me exactly what you're doing. So Jill will play Vanna White for oysters. So there we have these beautiful baby oysters.
Yep.
Yum.
So these are from last year. This is the seed from last year. It's a bit
how long?
bigger.
So they've been growing for a year.
About a year. Yep.
They're a year old. And then these are.
This is the new seed from this May. We ordered about 1.5 million from Maine, a hatchery up there, and we had them shipped down to us. And I just finished moving those out from the upweller at the dock to Little Pond here.
Excellent. Oh my goodness.
And these guys actually grow in floating mesh bags, like you see here.
Wow.
So they hang out in here.
So this little guy, is there a little guy in there?
Yep.
There's
so
a little
the oyster's
guy.
inside the shell.
It's a baby oyster. Oh, I'm going to name him Oscar.
We call them seed when they're that small.
They're seed.
Yep.
Seed oysters.
And these would be the juveniles.
The juveniles, teenagers.
Larger ones. Teenagers, yep.
Do they ever try to escape?
So we keep them in a mesh bag, and as they grow larger, we increase the size of the mesh bags so they get more water flow, so they can feed more easily on the plankton in the water. And that's essentially what we're trying to do here. We're trying to grow them so they can feed on the plankton.
Right.
And the plankton feeds on the nitrogen, which causes all the nutrient pollution out here, which we're trying to improve throughout these 3 years that we're
And has there
doing
been
this project.
has it been an improvement?
Yeah, so the homeowners have already seen an improvement in water quality. They've been able to see the bottom, so the clarity has really increased.
I can see it here. That's
and yeah, so it's a good sign so far.
Oh, that's wonderful. So it's working.
It's working, yeah.
It's working. Now, you're now involved with Care for Cape and Islands now, right? Because they gave you a grant.
Yep.
They gave you some money to do this, right?
Definitely appreciate that, yeah. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, I would think so. So now tell me about, okay, I'm a visitor. I'm staying here in Falmouth, and somebody said, did you know you could go at the front desk, said, you know, if you want to do something fun, they're going to be working an oyster grant here in the next couple of days. If you have any interest, I could get you in touch with somebody. How would they do that, and what would they do when they got here?
Yeah, so we're going to be relaying about probably 100,000 of the juveniles to our restoration areas where we seed them out.
Right.
Once they reach about 2 inches this size, we seed them out, and eventually they'll be harvested for recreational and commercial use. So they can certainly help out with the relay.
Yeah.
Where we put them in totes.
Yeah.
Right here in trailers, and we kind of ship them off. So
wow.
We bring all the lines in, and it's a bit of a process, but it's fun.
Not necessarily a clean process, but a fun one.
It's
to
a little
see
bit dirty,
and be a part of it. Yeah.
But it's fun, and so they can email me or call my cell. I have a couple of pamphlets that I can give you.
Okay, great.
And,
well, make sure we get those numbers so
yep.
they can get a hold of you. That would be
Absolutely,
wonderful.
And that would be a great help.
Yeah, sure it would. And what's really kind of neat, I know they're doing some things. I'm from Sandwich, so
okay.
They're doing some things in Sandwich. But I don't think they've done it to this extent where they're actually, I mean, I just don't think they've done this yet. You know, we've had some problems with water quality in the marshes.
Right. Yep.
And last thing I want to ask you, though. Okay, so now you're a biologist too, right? You
graduated. Yep, my degree is in marine biology.
Okay, so my question to you is this. Everybody goes, don't eat farm-raised salmon, scary stuff. What's the difference? Because this is farm-raised.
Yeah, shellfish.
Is it fresh water? I mean, is it water that's more flowy?
Water is one part of it, but with oysters and other shellfish, they kind of filter out the plankton and the particulate matter, and they clean the water. And with finfish aquaculture, with salmon and things like that, it tends to be a little more
icky.
Icky, yeah, dirty, if you will.
By the way, that is a marine biology term, icky.
But this pond is it's definitely nutrient rich.
Oh, that's
but once they reach this size, we put them in healthier waters.
Yep.
And then they'll have time to clean out and kind of purge out the the bad stuff.
Well, and sometimes I know like with farm-raised salmon, they raise them in big tanks.
Yep.
That would be different if they were raising them out in the ocean in
exactly.
netting,
So that's
right?
more contained,
right.
Land-based. This is right in their natural environment, right in their natural water. So they're feeding on what they would normally in the wild. So it's a lot different from finfish aquaculture. It's very environmentally friendly, if you will. So
very interesting. Thank you.
No problem.
Great to meet you, Ryan.
You too.
And thank you, Jill, again. Yay! Wow, wasn't that fun? Look, these are my new friends, about 2 or 3 million of them. Yes, I have been to an oyster farm, and that's a first for me. I want to thank you for coming along and learning all about CARE for the Cape and Islands and about this fabulous oyster grant that CARE for Cape and the Islands gave to the town of Falmouth and to this nice young man so he can help us grow more oysters and clean our waters. Fabulous, fabulous stuff. So I'm so glad you came along today, and we'll see you again on a next Cape Conversation.